What is up YouTube? And today we have another Anchor Panic video. But today we're going to be talking about mostly some things that I want to see changed in the game. I've been having a great time actually playing, and I think by implementing maybe some, hopefully all of these changes, the game would be even more fun to play for me. And I think it's a lot of the problems that the community together is kind of feeling and kind of, noticing as an issue. Now, like I said, very fun game. Test it out if you want. It's actually really addicting. I didn't think I would be a fan at first, but I am actually kind of hooked for an auto battler. It's pretty insane. And like I said, the game is amazing. The devs have said, the staff also have said on Discord that some of these issues are being currently looked into. But I just wanted to bring it up because I see a lot of comments talking about, how can I do this? How can I do this? And honestly, they're just kind of like problems in the game that a lot of people are experiencing. And hopefully, like I said, these issues get looked into and fixed quickly because I think this has a lot of potential to be a very, very good game that I think a lot of people are sleeping on right now. So the first thing I want to talk about actually is stamina. It's called erosion in this game. And the amount of stamina you get is just very low. Now you do get them every single day from the login benefits. You do have to log in at a specific time, which is kind of annoying because a lot of people don't live in these time zones that can claim it all the time. So I think just sending it in the mail and make it like a one-day expiry even would just be really cool because sometimes I'm even sleeping and I wake up and I don't check my phone for a couple hours or I guess log into the game, so I kind of forget. But I think just having it in the mail would be a cool change. But the biggest thing is the amount of stamina it actually costs to do stuff. So basically every single run in this game on the max level will cost you 30 stamina or erosion to do it, and you just don't get enough stamina to actually farm enough. You'll probably be farming, I guess, like 10 to 15 stages a day out of the free-to-play energy, which just feels really, really bad. So I think what they should do is maybe, instead of like upping the stamina, the erosion rate, because you do recover a decent amount, is to actually just reduce the cost of this. I think 30 is just way too high. Even at all difficulties, like it scales up from 18 at level 1, which is pretty insane. I think they definitely have to cut back on the amount it costs. I would say like even having it would just be a huge fix because 30 is just ridiculously high, right? Because you're only farming 6 times and it's costing you 180, which is pretty crazy. So definitely they need to do that because right now the meta is you're using your crystals for your erosion, and this just feels bad because what will lead into next, the summon system. So the reason why using your crystals for stamina kind of feels necessary is because you don't get enough in the game. And by using your crystals for energy, you're just missing out on a lot of summons, right? Now you're probably thinking, oh, doesn't the game give you a lot of summons? Yes, it does. It gives you a lot of these tickets, honestly, like a ton. But the thing is, the way the pity system, the way how it works in this game, it kind of forces you to actually use your crystals for tickets here. Usually in games, you don't really want to buy these tickets with your crystals and you want to refresh with it. But in this game, it just really kind of puts you in a weird situation where, if you're not refreshing your energy with your crystals, you're just always low on mats and stuff like that. And you're just kind of like endlessly farming for very minimal upgrades and you can't really play the game as much as you'd want, which is not really a good thing. Or you're using your crystals for energy and then you're not able to summon unless you're like giga swiping your card, right? And the reason why it's really bad in this game is because, or I guess feels bad in this game is a better way to say it, is going to be because of the pity system. So right now the pity system, when you actually hit pity, you only have a 20% chance that you get the operator that you want. So 4 times out of 5, you're not going to get the character who you're summoning on the banner. The second time you do it, it's not even 100, it goes to 60. However, the third time you do it, it's 100. So basically, you have to pity on this 3 times to guarantee that you'll get the character, which can feel very bad. And if you want to hit the pity, you need to actually, use your crystals for summons. So it's like a weird predicament, and they really need to tackle the stamina and the pity system because both of them combined in the game right now just makes it really, really hard for free-to-play players. Not even just free-to-play, just like even light spenders and even medium spenders to be able to actually enjoy the game to the fullest. Now I do think that they will tackle this because it's a huge topic in the community, but I really, really hope that, they fix this because it just kind of has you thinking, like, should I refresh my energy or should I save for coupons or tickets to summon? And even if you do one or the other, it still feels bad. So hopefully they tackle this, right? If you're like using your energy or your crystals for energy only, you should be getting like a huge lead, but you're not even getting like a huge lead in terms of gear. If you're using your crystals for summons only, you should be getting a huge lead in that department for like the characters that you want, but you're not even getting a lead there either, or like not a lead, but I guess like a head start, right? Just having a significant amount more than the people doing the other thing, right? So that's what kind of feels bad, and it even carries over to sigils, right? Like for sigils as well, they have like that same thing. It's 25% to 62.5 to 100, but in my personal opinion, and I know like people, I guess like, you know, the devs might disagree because this is, you know, a game that they have to make money on. I feel like for sigils, this should be way higher. 25% is just way low. I feel like it should be like 50 to 100, just similar to like other games, because yeah, you're only pulling on the sigil banner for that specific sigil, right? If you think about it, if I pull for Karanissa, which I did, right? What am I going to do after with my summons? You're going to pull the sigil, because the sigil is just going to buff that character by so much, right? Because sigils in this game, they actually give the character an extra effect if they equip it. So it pretty much makes it so that you need the sigil on the character to get their maximum value. So then after you win the pity system somehow over the character, now you have to do it again on the sigil. And it just feels really bad because the difference is with the characters, if I like, you know, hit pity and I end up pulling like a different character, it's fine. I can use the character, especially like on different like, you know, sigils that aren't bound to a character. But with sigils, if I pull the wrong sigil when I hit pity, let's say I pulled for Karanissas and I pulled like, I don't know, Dawns. If I don't have Dawn at all, I'm pretty much never going to use the sigil. Now, of course, there's some sigils that actually have really good effects that you will use, for example, like turns. But like there's a lot where you're only going to ever really use on that specific character, because a lot of the benefit is going to come from the secondary effect on top of the first effect. Now, the first effect is really good on a lot of these sigils anyway, so like I said, there will be some characters you can use it on, but it just feels pretty bad, right? So regardless, you know, pity system, I think something has to be done with it, but I really think the sigil one should definitely be buffed 100%, and I think for the character, it should also be slightly buffed or massively buffed, however you guys think it should be. But yeah, that's what I think about like the summoning and the energy system, because they're both tied to crystals, so you know, they're both in like the same boat, I guess, in terms of problems. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is actually the resource system. So the resource system in this game, it gives you a way to farm everything, which is a great thing. However, what I don't really like is how the currency is. So this Taino currency is pretty much required for everything, but it doesn't drop from everything. You're gonna see that it only really drops from this commission boss, and that's pretty much it outside of like, you know, daily quests and stuff like that. And it just feels really bad because, you know, sometimes you just want to farm models, which is what a lot of people do, and then you just don't have any currency to level at all, so you have to wait the next day, and then you have to farm permanently in Taino currency, and then you upgrade your models that day, and then you have to go back to models. You're just going back and forth. So just by not having like a baseline of this, you know, currency, this silver or gold in this game, as people call it, to upgrade your stuff as you're farming them, just feels really bad. Obviously this dungeon, right, it should give the most by a decent amount, but I think like adding some sort of baseline, you know, Taino currency to every single dungeon, whether it be like a lot smaller, which it probably will be, would be nice, because, you know, everything in this game revolves around that currency and it always feels like you're hurting on it. So I really think that they should buff that for sure, or I guess change it so dungeons have like a baseline of it. And on top of that, I really think that the model drop rate for the oranges should be higher. It says high chance for the clear rewards, but it's not high chance, trust me. You're not gonna nearly get as many as you get purples, which makes sense, right? But it's really low value. It's like a really low amount is what I'm trying to say. I've been farming this dungeon for like 4 days now, ever since release, and I'm still trying to get, you know, these speed pieces for my main team. I'm not even working on my second team yet, so I think definitely upping the rate would be nice. We're having like a 2x event or something for like everything, but yeah, I kind of understand why the drop rates are low, because they don't want you to gear everything so quickly. But right now how it stands, the drop rates I feel like are slightly too low for them. Now the last thing I want to talk about, we're coming back to banners here, is pretty much the banner length. I saved this for last because it's a debatable thing, right? But banners in this game are going to be a week, and I really think that a week is a little too short, especially if it's not like a clear rerun. Now Karanissa is technically a rerun for global in terms of like comparing it to China and Japan, but because we're all in global, it's like pretty much a new banner for us, right? We didn't ever have access to her before. So I do think the new banners should be, a longer duration. And the reason why I think this is kind of debatable is because they do have to catch us up to China and Japan. So because of that, they're probably doing these 1 week banners very, very quickly. And that's why they're also running 2 banners at a time. But if you're not spending like a large amount, it's really hard to guarantee that you can pull these characters in the given time frame. And the reason why is because it is the pity system that is built into the game. So yeah, because of this pity system, it's still going to exist no matter what, I believe. Whether they tweak the numbers, it's up to them. But I do think, if this is going to be in the game, having only a week to pull on a banner where you may have to pity on it 3 times to get the character is just kind of too short. But yeah, those are like my main, I don't want to say complaints, but what I hope to see gets adjusted in the game, because I think, like I said in the beginning of the video, this game has a lot of potential. It's pretty fun for a, not idle battler, but auto battler that has like waifus and stuff you can pull for. And it's very refreshing because it's pretty low maintenance. But I think these changes will make it so that, people will stick around for the long term, because right now the way it's playing for me, it's like I'm logging in, I'm contemplating whether to use all my crystals for energy. If I do, I get really screwed on the summons. In fact, I did hit Karenissa on the 2nd pity and I hit her Sigil on the 1st pity, which was very lucky. So I can't imagine like if you miss on the 1st pity on the Sigil, which is very likely, and like if you miss even on the 2nd pity, which is like 40% chance, like how it must feel. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this and what changes you think should be in the game, what shouldn't be in the game, if I'm overreacting. But I think I did cover pretty much the biggest complaints from the community that I've seen so far, and also for, just from me playing what I've experienced. But yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.